Okay, take two. Hey Flosstube, my name is Lena Coates. I'm attempting to do my first Flosstube video. This is the second time I'm filming, hence take two. And I watched part of my previous video and immediately deleted it because I spent like 45 minutes like incoherently rambling. So, I'm gonna try to more concisely get through my video. I have to more concisely get through my video, or my kids will be in the video. So I'd like to do my first video alone so that there's nobody judging the fact that I am sitting here talking to myself. That is definitely the most awkward part, although, like I said, I spent 45 minutes already talking to myself, so I'm a little bit more comfortable now. So I'll probably still ramble incoherently for 45 minutes, but we're going to try this. And I will continually look down at my face, but I'm trying to stare directly into the camera, and we'll go from there. So my name is Lena Coates. I live in a very small town in Maine called Livermore Falls. I moved up here from not a city, but definitely a bigger town in Florida called Ocala. If you recognize that name, it's because on Stitch Mania, somebody posted, it was the Queen of Starts posted a picture of the really great LNS we had there, called Brick City Cross Stitch. That was it. Sorry, you'd think I know the name of the LNS that I've shopped at, but Brick City Cross Stitch, which was a really, really nice LNS. I do not have an LNS in my town or even really nearby me anymore. The closest one is about 2 hours away. I have been there once. It was nice. It had a great selection of threads, but I wasn't as impressed with their pattern selection, I guess. Not a lot that I would choose from. But like every thread you can imagine, and beads and stuff. I don't know about their fabrics. I didn't really spend a lot of time looking through their fabrics, but I probably would go back there again, but definitely when I go back home to visit family, I definitely go to Brick City Cross Stitch again. It's very nice. If you've watched Katie the Stash Queen, she's mentioned Ocala in the past, or Brick City Cross Stitch. That's where she got one of her, what was it? My mind went blank, but one of those like dessert themed cross stitches, if you know what I mean. Of course my mind's going to go blank because I have a camera on me now, but she got that, ordered that from Brick City Cross Stitch. So if you've heard that name, it may be from her. So I'm going to do an introduction. Like I said, my name is Lena Coates. I live in Maine. I'm married, been married for, it'll be 15 years this summer. We have 3 kids. I have a 12-year-old daughter, a 10-year-old daughter, and a 2-year-old daughter, who are all at school right now. Normally I would be at work, but I have Tuesdays off. I work as a physician assistant. I do family practice. I work 4 days a week. My husband is also a physician assistant. He's currently doing orthopedics. My mom is a physician assistant. We have a medical background. So, love my job. Family practice is very new for me. I spent about 10 years doing OR. So 10 years working in surgery, which I loved. I loved surgery. But the hours with a family just aren't doable, especially with 3 kids. It's just not doable. Usually you have, you don't always, but you have the potential to have long days and you're on call and stuff like that. So I went from that to ER, pediatric ER. Love that as well. But living up here rurally, you don't have the luxury of a pediatric ER. And also my family would prefer I worked during the day because I used to do the night shift. So now I work normal day hours. I'm home every night. I never have to work a holiday. I'm home on weekends. I have a day off during the week, and I'm rambling again. So I started stitching in high school, which for me was over 20 years ago. When I say I started stitching in high school, I stitched something in high school. I couldn't even tell you what it was. I couldn't even tell you if I finished it. I'm pretty sure it was like a Precious Moments type character from one of the Precious Moments books. I don't know which one. I don't know if I finished it. I don't know where it is. But I think that's what I did. I picked it up again in college. My roommate was an art major, and she came home with like all this floss and this like abstract design, and she was gonna like cross stitch all this stuff and change up the colors and stuff like that. So I went out, I'm like, oh, that's great. I remember doing that in high school. So I went out and got another Precious Moments book. I'm not sure what my obsession with Precious Moments was back then. I got a Precious Moments book and floss, and I made something. I think I gave it to my boyfriend because, you know, every 21-year-old man wants a Precious Moments cross stitch. But, so anyway, that was my first that was the first project I finished. And then I did stitch through college. I completed a fair number of projects. And then I stitched through graduate school as well. That's where I met my husband, was in PA school. We met on the first day, started dating about a week later, and got married 2 weeks after graduation. So I stitched all through graduate school. Really, most of the projects, I couldn't even, I don't think I could actually show you any of my completed projects because I think every single one of them were gifts. If I have anything still, it's because it's not finished. And I have a lot of unfinished stuff, I will tell you that, a lot of unfinished projects. But I didn't get rid of them. I don't think I've ever gotten rid of anything other than that first possible Precious Moments thing I did in high school. I'm sure I don't have that. But I think I have everything else I've started. And while I've completed a lot over the years, there have been a lot I haven't completed. So, what else to tell you? I told you who I am, my family. Obviously, you know, I cross stitch. That's what I do. Other hobbies. I watch Flosstube videos, a lot of Flosstube videos. I don't say I waste many an hour. I spend many an hour watching Flosstube videos. And I do read. I don't read as much as I used to because, you know, obviously with cross-stitching, you can't cross-stitch and read at the same time. And usually when I'm not cross-stitching, it's because I'm either working or doing stuff with my kids or something like that. So I don't read as much. But I have discovered audiobooks because my daughter wanted me to catch up with her on the Harry Potter series. I just realized I'm totally shaking my legs and I'm probably looks like I'm vibrating in this video. It's because I'm shaking my legs, so I gotta stop doing that. So she's on I think she's on the 5th Harry Potter book, and I had read the first 2. And she wants me to read 3 and 4 to catch up with her, but between my work schedule and trying to, you know, get stuff done with them and cross-stitching, to tell you the truth, I didn't want to set aside the time it would take to read that book because I'm really enjoying a lot of my projects right now. and I can't stitch and read at the same time. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So I downloaded it on audiobook, and I actually play it at work, when I'm sitting there doing charts. Luckily, I can chart and still listen at the same time. I have my attention span, some people need to focus on doing one thing at a time, and I can usually do something and listen to something at the same time. So it doesn't bother me. So I mostly listen to it at work and in the car. Not so much while I'm stitching, because I like to watch Flosstube while I'm stitching. So I don't really listen to audiobooks while I'm stitching. So yeah. So I'm not doing so much reading right now, but I am listening to audiobooks. Really, other than that, I don't have a lot of hobbies. Oh, geocaching. So geocaching is really fun. If you don't know what geocaching is, Googling it would give you a much better explanation than I can. But basically, it's like a treasure hunt or a scavenger hunt, I guess. You download the app on your phone. It's free. And people hide these little things at GPS coordinates, and you just find it. I don't know if I'm not a very good teacher. I'm not a very good explainer, but Google geocaching. I love to do it with my kids. Our winter is just ending. It's getting to where our snow is gone now, and as the weather warms up, I'll probably spend more time geocaching with the kids and less time stitching. So that's fun. Look up geocaching. I highly recommend it, especially if you have kids, because it is really fun to do. I wouldn't say as much fun as stitching, but considering stitching is like a solo activity and geocaching can be a group activity, I think I have a good time, and the kids love it. They have a good time too. And you can do it anywhere. There are geocaches all over the world. There are actually 2 in Antarctica, though I probably will never find those. There's one on top of Mount Everest. So, you don't have an excuse as to not being able to find a geocache. It's really fun. That'd be my second favorite hobby. So, and then obviously just spending time with my kids. I have 3 kids. I love hanging out with them. They're growing too fast. So those would be my hobbies. I discovered Flosstube about maybe just over a year and a half ago, or maybe a year and a half ago. The way I discovered it was that I had a project that I had been working on and off since I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. So I had started it in the year 2002. And I was trying to come up with some different ideas of things that I wanted to do before I turned 40. And so this was in December. So I would have turned 40 in 2015. So this would have been December of 2014. And my daughter suggested pulling out this project, that I had been working on, like I said, on and off for years, pulling out this project and finally finishing it. It's a tree skirt. If you've been a member of Stitch Mania for a while, when I finally finished it, I posted it on there. So, the pictures are on there. I'm sure you may not remember seeing it because I'm not one of the stars of Stitch Mania, but it's on there somewhere. But anyway, so this tree skirt that I made for my father was started in 2000. And I obviously had had 3 kids since then. So it had been put away for months to years at a time. So at her suggestion, I pulled it out, made sure I had everything. And I don't know why I searched on YouTube. I don't know what I was looking for exactly, but I put in cross stitching videos. And I started getting the videos and, people, the videos were labeled Flosstube and I'm like, what's this Flosstube? And I started watching them and I'm like, oh my God, there's this whole world of, there's just like a whole division of YouTube devoted to cross stitching. That was crazy to me. So of course I got addicted and started watching it. Last count, let's see, I counted this morning. I am subscribed to 101 Flosstubers. And granted, some of those people, some of those people may have made one video or two videos. And some I haven't even watched their videos yet. I'm trying to go through. But the problem is, like, my favorites keep making their videos. And then I'm like, whenever, I'm embarrassed to say, but whenever the Stash Queen makes a video, which is once a week, I'm like, I gotta stop what I'm doing and watch the Stash Queen's video. So I'm not embarrassed to say that. I like her videos. And if she doesn't make it on Sunday, I'm like, what? It's Sunday. Why is your video up? Because obviously she shouldn't have a life, having 2 kids, and a husband and, housework and other stuff to do. Like, she shouldn't do all that. She should make her videos on Sunday. But I like watching hers. I mentioned hers because she, tends to do one every week. Coffee Stitcher tends to do one every week. So those are the ones that, like, obviously I watch most often because they make most often. But, like, I got a couple other favorites. And when their videos come out, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I need to stop folding laundry because, this person made a YouTube video. So anyway, so I've gotten addicted. If I see something labeled Flosstube, and I'm not already subscribed to it, I'll subscribe to it. But I'm, even with 101, I'm sure there's tons out there. So tons out there that I'm not subscribed to. So, so hopefully, my video will be one that you add to your collection. And I'm rambling again. Back to Flosstube. So anyway, I started watching it, and it inspires you to, like, pick up your stitching and do your stitching. And, I learned a lot of stuff I wasn't aware of before. In my world prior to Flosstube, there was Aida and linen, and there was, like, white and off-white, maybe some cream. I didn't know about hand-dyed fabrics and even weave and just all this crazy stuff. I didn't know, like, all this acronyms and abbreviations and stuff. That's my favorite part because it's like our own little language. But even things like hand-dyed floss and different patterns and full coverage designs and all this stuff. At the time that I discovered Flosstube, I had already been stitching for, if I start at 18, 20, over 20 years. And didn't know about any of this stuff. Now, obviously, I wasn't a, constant stitcher. There were long periods in which I didn't stitch, but it's cool. I learned a lot of new stuff from that. I also learned that you can not subscribe. You can actually do more than one project at a time. Like, amazing. Like, free will. You can do more than, you don't have to just do your project. Which I think has helped me keep interested longer. Obviously in the past I had done more than one project, but I'd work on a project till I got sick of it and then work on something else, which is why I have all these projects that aren't done. But now I'm doing kind of more than one project at a time. At some point I'm going to do a rotation. I think that'll probably work for me. But right now I have certain things on time schedules, which I'm going to show you. Certain things, because I'm still mostly doing gifts. Sorry, my needle-minder stuck. I'm still mostly doing gifts, and a lot of those gifts have timelines. So, so I can't really incorporate a rotation right now. But... sorry, that's bugging me. So I will eventually, but I'm going to show you the 3 projects that I'm working on right now, my 3 whips, my 3 active whips right now. And I'll probably do that now. So one thing I discovered with Flosstube and Stitch Mania is a designing company, Brooks Books. So obviously Brooke is the designer, but the company is Brooks Books. And I am working on 2 projects from Brooks Books. The first is going to be a baby gift for a friend of mine who's having her daughter in June. She had years of infertility issues, but finally was able to get pregnant, and the pregnancy has done very well, and she's expecting a little girl in June. So I'm going to make this for her. I'm going to show you the picture of it right now. And I'm going to apologize ahead of time. You know, if you've done these videos before, that trying to figure out how to show something and, you know, get it even, it's not easy. It's not easy. So I have somehow on my camera, the words are showing the right direction. I don't know how that's happened. My daughter probably did something with iMovie to make it do that, so I'm grateful she did. But anyway, so here is the picture of the finished project. So each of those little pieces is stitched on separately on perforated paper. And then you take it all apart, and you know, add the beads and the memory thread and all this stuff. And I will tell you, this is definitely technically the most difficult thing I've done, because although I've worked with, you know, flosses, metallics, I've worked with beads, I've never done memory thread, and I've never had to make these little tiny bows out of things. And yeah, so this is going to be the most difficult, but you know, hey, I'm up for a challenge. So this is what I've done so far. I'm going to put paper behind this. So this is the first, that's the first page. I still have to do, if you see right over here, I told you I can't do that. I still have to do the krennic in there, which I'm having a hard time because it's number 8 krennic, and I'm having a hard time finding a large enough needle for the thread to go through. I can't get it. None of my like 24, 26, 28s, I can't get the number 8 krennic to go through. So that's the only reason I didn't do that. I'm not saving it for anything. So I have the first page out of the 2 done, other than the krennic and the beading. And so I'm kind of pausing on this for a little bit. I have a little bit more time now that the first page is done, because I can't finish it until after the baby's born, because it, you know, needs a name and a birth date. So I'll probably pick this back up probably the beginning of May, because I was able to do this pretty quickly. So I think if I pick it up at the beginning of May, get everything done other than her name, and then maybe cut some stuff out, it'll be good. So the second thing I'm working on is also Brooks Books, and is also a gift. My sister's getting married in October, and I wanted to stitch her something, but I was very hesitant to stitch her anything like a sampler or a wedding announcement or anything like that. I just didn't want to do that, because my concern was that my taste might not be her taste. You know, everybody's taste is different, and that like she would either have to feel obligated to hang something on her wall that she really didn't like, or risk like hurting my feelings by like storing it away. So I Googled, I don't know what I Googled, but I Googled something like wedding gift ideas, wedding cross-stitching gift ideas, something like that. Anyway, I found a tradition. It's a German tradition, which I'm not German, but it's kind of a cool tradition, where you give a bride 12 different ornaments for her first Christmas tree. Each ornament represents, you know, something, you know, some attribute or something that you want for her married life. And there's things like giving, fertility, I don't know, there's 12 of them. And of course my mind is blank because like I said, there's this camera staring at me. So anyway, so the tradition itself is not necessarily cross stitching. I mean, they make these ornaments and you can just buy them and give them to her. But no, I'm going to make these ornaments. So Brooks Books has all 12 of these ornaments, and I decided to stitch them. My initial goal was to be completed by her wedding in October. Probably not going to happen. So my next goal is by her first Christmas. So I figured if, she has them by her first Christmas, then hey, that would be good. So I have a couple of them, and I'm going to tell you, so I've worked on some linens before. This is the recommended linen because, thinking outside the box kind of stresses me out. It's going to take me time to get there. And of course, when the linen came in and I was in such a hurry to start, I started on this. I don't like this particular linen, and if I were to do this again, I would definitely get something else. Because see, I'm going to kind of show you this clear spot. I don't know if you can see that. It is so loosely woven that you have to take you can't have any tension on your stitches whatsoever. And although I'm not nearly as tense of a stitcher as I used to be, you have to be so careful. I mean, even to the point where this was the first one I did, the sand I'm going to show you, I had it in my Q-snap and it tore the fabric just being stretched on my Q-snap. So I'll show you this little guy first. This is the 12th one, and it's Santa. I'm sorry. So it's Santa. See? I am going to get this right on here. Okay. Go in slowly. There. Santa. He represents giving. I don't have the beads on there yet, and I also, it calls for French knots, and I can't do French knots. So I'm going to do where it calls for the French knots are in the little rabbit's eye, and I'm going to get beads because why drive myself more crazy, right? So this second one, I don't know the rest of the numbers. I just know Santa's 12. But this is a fish. So I also have him all the way done, other than he's got some beads kind of right in the middle here. And then other than that, he is done. The third one I did, this is kind of a funny story. So underneath the fish, I'd initially had this angel. I had an angel there, and I started the angel, and then I was flying back from Florida. I had visited family, and I was flying back, and I left the pattern on the airplane. So I get home, and I'm going to I'm looking through my carry-on stuff and trying to finish stitching this angel, and I lost the pattern. So I had to order another one. So in the meantime, I said, I'll just start another one. I went up, and that's where the fish was up above the angel. I didn't measure correctly. I don't know that I measured it all. I think I eyeballed it, and so then I finished the fish, went back to finish the angel, and I worked on it a few more rows, and I was looking at it, I was like, this is going to be a really short angel. And then I took out my measuring tape and realized that if I kept going, the top of the angel would be about 1 inch into the fish. So I had to rip it all out. And then I realized that even if I moved the angel down lower, I still didn't have enough room. So I had to find a shorter pattern. So if you look at them, all of these ornaments are either 4 by 5 inches or 4 by 4 inches. So I just had to get a 4 by 4 inches. So I'm doing a bird's nest. I think it's a robin. So I've done that far. I'm almost done. It's going to have some branches and stuff hanging over them. So that's how far I am in that one. My third active whip is a Hay design. It is, I don't have a picture of it because I didn't print it. I'm really only printing the pages I need to do. So, but if you look it up, it's Butterfly Effect. Sorry. It's Butterfly Effect. It's very beautiful. It's for my daughter. I'm hoping to have it done by the time she starts high school. But it's just a pretty design. So I started this. I attempted to grid and got impatient and just decided I was just gonna start, because I think I was trying to start this like January 1st for the like, I think I was doing it for like the New Start Challenge and like a Hay Challenge. I was trying to incorporate it into a bunch of challenges. So I started it January 1st. I may have started a day early, no big deal. And I started, okay, so if I cover up this part. So this stuff right here is essentially the middle page. And if you look at all this right here, that's all Kreinik. And this is on 25 count white Lugana. And I think I had posted some questions on Stitch Mania about, this Kreinik and using it, because I'm doing 1/1 crosses. But this Kreinik is a pain in the butt. And people were giving me really good suggestions, really great suggestions. But the problem is, I'm sure I can't be the only one. I was impatient and I just started and I just wanted to do it. And I'm paying for that by the fact that I can't stand this big, listen to that. This is all Kreinik. So I'm just covering up the other page. So all this is kind of the top, probably half of that page. And my stitching style, I know I have these random threads. I'm kind of doing cross country, but then I'm kind of parking because you can see all this crap down here, but not true parking because these aren't actually where the stitches are. It's just to get the thread out of my way. And then I did not do the last Hay challenge, the one where you do the different blocks. I did not do that because I knew I couldn't do it. There was no point trying. But then they came out this new one where you had to do cross country and cross country by color and do a whole page. So I decided to do it. I don't know that I'll finish it. I don't know that I can finish a whole page of this and still do my other projects in a timely manner, but I decided to start. So that is what this is. So everything you can see from this blue line and this blue line, I just use those to mark the page. So all this Kreinik right here. And there's really not that much more Kreinik in here. I'm doing kind of cross country by color in columns. And so this is my third column over. But in this second column right here, I did a counting error and there's a whole extra row here. And I tried to correct it by deleting a row here, and then now somehow I'm 2 rows off. So I've put this away for a couple days. I'll get back to it, and I'm definitely not ripping anything out. I'm somebody who will rip stuff out because this dress right here, I ripped that out 3 times. This like lightest color of pink. Yeah, I had like 90% of that pink done and I ripped it out for the 3rd time because of a counting error. So I'm not above ripping stuff out, but I'm not ripping out an entire spool of Kreinik to correct a problem. So we're going to see how to fix that and blend it in. It's huge. It's a huge Hay piece. You're not going to really, notice it, but you get frustrated. And I'm frustrated. So I put it away. It's in timeout. So those are the 3 that I'm working on. I'm not going to show you anything I'm not working on right now. This video is now like 35 minutes long. And as much as I like watching long videos, I figured you should probably get to know me, I shouldn't expect you to watch like my first video an hour long. you know, kind of decide if you like me. And then I'll like talk for, you know, an hour, hour and a half, but I'm not going to do that to you quite yet. I do love long videos though. I'm trying to remember who it was that had that like 3.5 hour long vlog video. And the funny thing is when I first looked at it, I'm like 3.5 freaking hours. I mean, that's crazy. Oh yeah, I binge watched that the whole thing in one night. I think it had to have been like a Friday night. And when the kids, I think I started it in the evening. We always do like a family movie night either on Friday night or Saturday night. And so I like watched it while I was stitching during the family movie night. I know really I should have been watching the family movie, but the point was like to get everybody in the room together, and yeah, what they don't know won't hurt them, right? So yeah, so I watched that, and then when they went to bed, I think I stayed up like another 2 hours binge watching that video. So that was kind of fun, but I do like the long videos. But I'm going to stop mine here. Hopefully you like it. And yeah, so I will end this and figure out how to actually download it. And I might need my daughter for that because anyway. Oh, I did want to let you know, this is my first video, but if you like look at my channel, there's going to be like 3 other videos. It's because my 10-year-old wanted to be like her sister and post YouTube videos, but I wasn't comfortable with her having her own channel. So the first like 3 videos are my 10-year-old. So like if you're really bored, I don't even know what they are. I think one is like what's in my school bag. I mean, she's 10, so I think she's adorable, but yeah, those are going to be the first 2. So this is my first video, but the 4th video on my channel. So, okay, well, thank you for putting up with me for almost 40 minutes, and I hope you like my video. Thanks.